Hello and welcome to another Fortean Words. Evening all.
You know, the way you say that is exactly like in the new theme tune I've made for the show.
Stop bitching about it, Hobbit. I'll sort it out.
No,
So why don't you just take it up with Voodoo Media? He made the fucking video. Why don't you whine at him?
because you're the master of ceremonies, you're supposed to sort it all out, and I will never stop being petulant. You know me.
So everyone's saying, what's this about? For Ian thinks it's about alternative comedy. He wants to hear Ben Elton sticking it to Thatch. Off-License says, are we going to be talking about wind power and nuclear?
We could put like Rick Mail's coffin and like put it on a spindle attached to a generator, and then we could play him like feminist slam poetry and have him spin in his grave.
You think he'd like that, do you?
Talking about how the pyramids got built from the top down, boys. That's what it's about.
And we all know why he died, don't we?
Yeah, because he did the conspiracy thing one by one, and then they heart attacked him.
I thought he was going to blow the whistle on Jimmy Savile.
Oh well, he did about Stephen Fry, saying like they were going to do a tour together and do a theatre play, and then like apparently Stephen Fry was allegations that he raped a boy.
the one what bummed a kid, and then he went and married like his extremely boyish looking husband there, didn't he?
Well, what happened is the opening night of the theatre where Rick Mail and Stephen Fry were supposed to do this thing. Stephen Fry had got like the next available plane or ferry to Belgium, and hid there for a couple of months, and then came back because apparently what you can do is you can just wait in a European Union country, and then allegations of boy rape get dismissed, and then you become the host of QI.
If you can hide for long enough, it gets dismissed. That's the rule. It's
I think we know someone like that. I think we know someone like that, don't we?
You just hide in Europe long enough, don't you? That's
because there's no extradition treaties in European Union countries.
No,
especially when we were part of the European Union.
No,
but no, it just seems very weird. Like, and no, off license. I'm not saying Stephen Fry topped Rick Mail, but I am saying he'd be one of the people.
I'm not saying he did, but he had a good motive for it.
Yeah. You know, if there was like, if I was Investigator Hobbit investigating the suspicious circumstances
Chief
of Rick Mail's
Inspector
death,
Hobbit from the Yard.
Yeah. I put it this way: Stephen Fry would be one of those people I'd be willing to interview, saying like, "What was your association with Mr. Mail, and why did you leave Belgium in such a hurry when you were supposed to be working with him? Why did you do that? That wasn't very professional of you, was it, Mr.
One of these
Fry?
things is not like the other Hobbit.
Why have you ever had sexual intercourse with an underage child before, Mr. Fry?
He did, but he didn't inhale.
Ah, I see. Then that's okay. Oh yeah, and also off license says jerk off crystals. Wow. I don't know if that is. Can you power a advanced civilization by getting a couple of crystals and jerking off with them? So
I don't know. Just teenage boys. I mean, should we be spreading crystals throughout teenage boys' bedrooms? Is that what we need to be doing?
That is the untapped resource. Yeah.
I mean, when you think of all those women doing shake weights, like the boys, they could do that, and you could power a starship with that sort of power. just imagine
teenage self-love energy.
Imagine like you got a Star Trek or something, and you got like, the Romulans, they tap the power of a black hole in the reactors, and other people they got.
Is that why they had Wesley Crusher on the But they needed him to power the dilithium crystals. Is that what we're saying?
The dilithium's just like Star Trek for jerk-off crystals.
What is dilithium made out of?
Yeah,
that's why. You see, that's what they couldn't show on like a early '80s, late '80s, early '90s show. The holodeck is basically where they can do their VR porn.
I feel bad that we're now giving Robert Kurtzman an idea for the current series, for the new upcoming series of Star Trek.
Charging up the dilithium crystals.
Yes.
Oh, that's he's already
I'm surprised no one's done a spoof of that where they have to go in and clean up all the jits and shit from the holodeck.
Somebody showed me a still from the Star Trek cartoon, not the old Star Trek cartoon, which was voiced by the actors and pretty good.
Yeah.
But
you
mean that lower decks? You mean that lower decks, don't you?
What is it with all of this animation being super fucking ugly these days? Have you noticed that? It's like buildings as well. Someone's saying, "Oh, look at the new library in Oslo! Isn't it amazing?" It's just
now we know the real reason for the German masturbation machines.
No,
No,
that's what I call vril energy.
Yeah, that's orgon energy, isn't it? Isn't jizz orgon energy?
You know, there's all those people who are "Oh yeah, I jerk off, but I don't come because I'm harvesting my own germ." I'm just like,
oh no.
can I look? So I know we talk about OnlyFans content, and prior to the show, we do actually have a bit of back and forth chats, say what we're going to do in the show because we're consummate professionals here. Yes.
Consummate.
I was not expecting.
Consummated crystal professionals.
I was not expecting the Congress of the show to go this way. I was going to talk about, hey, did you know you can use red bricks to store electricity? Isn't that interesting? Now let's just talk about jerk-off crystals. Can you imagine if there's a symposium of alternative woo-woo podcasts and you got them all there and one of these days people are going to be "Oh, have you listened to that Fortean words? Oh yeah, I really like the one they did about alternative energies. Oh, you mean the jerk-off crystal episode?"
Since we're talking about this, what the hell are dirt jerk-off crystals anyway? What is he on about?
I don't think they're real, are they?
Do you want me to show you the meme? It's a Craigslist ad.
Is it real? All right.
There's a guy who's topless and he's got this crystal necklace and he says he wants to meet up with other guys to jerk off and charge up his jerk off crystal. No homo. Jerk off crystal Craigslist. I really hope our MI6 or MI5 handlers are enjoying the content and wondering how is this?
Phil wants the hop, and he's obviously been listening to the jerk off crystal content.
So you can actually put this on the YouTube stream because I think this is related to alternative energies. There's nothing you're not going to get done for putting that up there. But I'm going to read this to the audience because radio listeners might not know. So here's the Craigslist advert. Charge up and JO-38 brackets Houston. Reply to, and he's got an email address there at craigslist.org. This was posted 2008. The crystal I wear around my neck contains an essence that gets recharged when I jack with it. Sorry, it's really badly written. The crystal I wear around my neck contains an essence that gets recharged when I jack it with a bro who also has a crystal. It gives me confidence at work, home, social situations, etc. Nobody knows it's a jerk-off crystal but me and my bros. I've seen it glow white while jerking it with a bud.
I bet you've seen it glow white. I bet you have.
Oh, Jesus.
I've seen it glow white while jerking it with a bud. That's how I know this is real. My God, this guy could do with commas. You can come over for as long as you want, but I need a picture of you.
Is that guy in the Young Tories? Off-license wants to know, is that guy in the Young Tories?
You can come over as long as you want, but I need a picture of you, preferably wearing a crystal, before I waste my time. So,
Donnie thinks this is awesome content we're doing here.
Well, this is the alternative energies which other other podcasts are too. I would like to see.
They're too afraid.
Well, the regular, I mean, the regular alternative energies really are like jerk off crystals, aren't they? Jerk off hand motion, especially the fucking wind, isn't it?
Oh, God, I mean, that's just jerking off into the wind. So
yeah.
I would like to see Robert Llewellyn from the Fully Charged Show being brave enough to address true alternative energies.
At least with your jerk off crystal, you don't get blowback.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. You want to
at least your jerk off crystal isn't made out of balsa wood.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, that's right, because those are, and it's just like it's like. I need to click off for that image. I can't look at him anymore.
He does look a bit weird, doesn't
he? Yeah. So
Hobbit's teaching us how to gain true power, says English.
Alternative energies.
Alternative jerk off energies.
So this is the thing. I mean, what the Tartarian wireless energy was about was giving you confidence at work situations. Yeah. You go into one of these cathedrals and cathode cathedral. Yeah, you go to a cathedral with your jerk off crystal and they play.
Charge.
Yeah. When you're born, you're birthed. You go down the canal, Hobbit.
Yeah, that's it.
God, no. Stop.
You're given the charge. You go to the cathedral where you charge up your jerk-off crystal when they're playing your organ, and the tones, when the tones are just right. Holy shit!
Oh shit! We cracked it, boys. We cracked it.
We've cracked the code.
Unlimited
what
energy.
Is all about.
Let's
Unlimited. Well, once a day anyway.
Yeah.
Sovereign citizens in it make cathedral.
Continued use causes rubness and soreness.
Yeah.
Jesus. So who wants to do red brick storing electricity?
I don't know.
Well, go on then, Hobbit. You got to find a way. Yeah, we got to find a way of segueing into red brick now, Hobbit.
How do I thread this needle? I don't want this to become my Brutus moment. So
if I jerk off on a red brick, will it charge it, Hobbit?
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing. The science has not yet been done on this. The science of red brick jerk-off crystals is not settled. So there may be a.
So are you saying that like little girls, when they got too much puberty energy, manifest poltergeists, and like young boys, they just like blow light bulbs and stuff?
Oh my god!
Holy shit! No, God, Jesus Christ!
Just charge the house up, do they? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's. Hey, maybe that's it. Maybe like, this, and this is going to sound a bit like hypocritical coming from Mr. Flat Earth Enjoyer over here, but you heard this conspiracy theory that jet engines aren't real and the planes they actually work on compressed air, and that's how they fly around the world because there's no way they could store enough.
So they're so is somebody seriously saying that jet engines are fake and it's really more like a balloon when you let go of it?
It's a balloon.
Yeah, because you see, the energy densities involved in jet fuel. Jet fuel can't propel jet planes.
It can't melt steel beams either.
It can't melt steel beams. Jet fuel is basically worthless.
Does anybody know anything jet fuel can do? I always hear about what it can't do. Does anybody know what it can do?
It's good lubrication for those jerk-off crystals. I've heard.
Grandma told me jerk-off crystals. Serious show, guys. We're going to go into the truths that others don't dare. We're going to give you the real truth. But maybe that comes in the second hour.
You can't.
Oh no! I said come.
You can't handle the truth.
Oh, I'm just thinking.
Oh, not even that sounds like a fucking pun. You can't handle the truth. Why? Because the truth is so big.
Yeah.
You jerk off crystal so big,
yeah.
Fuck off, Stephen. Oh, that squirrel's fucking shit. Do you know what he said? He says, "Would you rub my crystal until my red bricks get charged?" Go on. Say fuck off, Stephen.
Fuck fossil fuels. Let's get jerk off crystals, everybody.
Yeah.
Everyone had a jerk off crystal.
My tail's popped out. I'm Wintercombe.
Oh, I know what you do. I know what you do. I know the bit you do now, Hobbit.
Yeah, because I was going to say that bit is 20 years old. Unfortunately, it's
a shame. When Lee Francis used to be funny.
Yeah. This is a weird thing, right? Like back in the olden days, Lee Francis.
Was Lee Francis cloned, Hobbit? Is that how we ended up with Keith Lemon?
Yeah. I don't know. Bully the anti-bully says, "How many jerk-off crystals to boil my kettle?"
Have we got internet royalty in the chat? Listen to us talk about jerk off crystals, and we've summoned the Lord, the Dark Lord himself, have we?
Well, you see, the alternative energies.
He's always a fan of the show. That's the thing.
Everybody's willing to hear me rehashing stories about red bricks storing electricity, and so they're getting the real energy truths here, man. Yeah, so
well, you have like Uno says, you have red bricks in electric storage heaters.
Well,
have you ever taken a storage heater apart? You just heat bricks up. That's all you do.
Yeah, no, and that's actually a good point. So being serious for a while, like there's one of the alternative ways to heat up houses is using electricity, but electricity, especially during the day, is expensive.
Well, Hobbit, soon it's not going to be alternative. It's going to be the only way to do it because Boris is banning gas boilers from about 2020 or 2030 or something.
Oh, well, that's a very sensible idea, and I'm sure there'll be no lasting repercussions from this.
No. The same as everyone's going to have an electric car by 2030 as well, aren't they?
Yeah. So
nothing can go wrong there, right?
No. Hilarious consequences ensue. Yeah. So with the red bricks, that's it. You can use it as a thermal battery. So you use electricity on off-peak hours. You've got your heater. You heat up the bricks inside an insulator.
Between 11 at night and 7 in the morning, Hobbit.
Oh, but there you go. Oh, is that called the System 7? Series
Economy
7?
Economy 7.
Economy 7, that's it. Yeah, you get the Economy 7 electricity. You charge up your bricks with heat. And then during the day, you open up the vents to this and have a fan in order to blow air around. And so you're just paying for the electricity of the fan. You're not paying for expensive electricity to heat up your house. And then you get hot air. So that's one alternative energy, and this also ties into saying like during the day you could have sun shining on your roof, and even during the middle of winter you could still have your solar panels there with water going through it.
Bully the anti-Billy wants to know how long till they're in freezing cold schools teaching the kids about jerk-off crystals.
Well, you see, maybe this is one of the reasons that Rick Mail was assassinated, because if you remember, one of the first episodes of Bottom was called Gas, and that was about alternative energy. It was also about stinging gas, but you know, when the gas man came in and he's like, "I've come to inspect your meters," he says, "Oh, it's lovely and warm in here," and "Oh, that's very unusual. What's that? Your gas reading? No. So how do you keep this place warm? Oh, yes, we don't use gas. So how do you keep the place warm? We make love." And then Eddie Hitler sort of looks in disgust at him. "Oh, with ourselves."
There we go.
Yeah, so...
jerk off crystals.
Yeah, Rick Mail was trying to warn us, like, back then, that jerk off crystals can keep your house lovely and warm. Because
is it true the gas man visited your house twice a week when you were a toddler? Well, it would have been the gas man, wouldn't it, when you was a toddler?
I don't.
The gas.
It would have been the gas man, wouldn't it? Not the gas man.
I don't know. I don't like the implications of where this is going, but. Oh yeah, Brucey says mine crypto in the winter instead of a space heater. I mean, if you're using electric to heat your house, and you may as well just
the problem with electric The problem with electric, it's not a decent. It's not a decent heat because as soon as you turn it off, it goes. It's not like central heating, is it?
Well, no, because with the central heating, you've got like a reservoir of heat from all the water in it. Because water is a great. It's got great thermal inertia. I think it's probably got of all substances known to man, water has got the greatest thermal inertia. And maybe we got like a proper boffin in the chat. It says, actually, this substance of carbon-60 holds more thermal inertia for a given density. But the implication was your mother was banging the Gasman Hobbit.
I'm sorry, Bio. That was not a very good joke. That did sound pretty weird. That did sound pretty weird. I'm not gonna lie, Bio. That could have been worded a whole lot better.
Yeah, I'm. Never mind. Oh, silver, actually, I believe. Yeah, maybe silver, or maybe quicksilver. Mercury. Let me just have a look right now. I'm going to go on the source of all truth and knowledge, Wikipedia.
Snopes. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, Snopes. Yeah. Let me just look up mercury and the thermal inertia of mercury. They may not call it inertia. They may call it like something else. Let me see. Density. Well, its density is 13.5 grams per cubic centimeter, as opposed to, I think, water's 1 gram. Its boiling point's higher. I mean, I think like mercury's denser than water, so it should hold. Let me just have a look. So it's water. Let me just look at water. Water, and the article on water's a lot different. It doesn't like show. If you type in most elements, it will give you like thermal inertia and stuff like that. But it doesn't
have you seen
tell me.
Snopes won't wade in on whether the Earth is flat?
Well, they're not. Oh yeah, Babylon B is the source of all truth and knowledge. Just 6 months off. Well, 6 months in the future, unfortunately, because sarcasm of this would be an absurd thing, and then it just becomes reality.
Snopes won't touch it. Snopes won't touch it. I just put into Snopes, is Earth round? And the first result is, did Muhammad Ali encourage vaccinations?
Yeah. So let me just try and what holds more heat, mercury or water? Question mark. Because I think maybe it's called like thermal density, specific heat capacity. There we go. Oh, this is BBC bite size. The mass of the material, the substance of the material, the desired temperature, specific heat capacity. What the fuck?
Does Nike make shoes featuring the all-seeing eye symbol? Mostly true, says Snopes.
Yeah, well, they would
Nike sells shoes featuring an all-seeing eye symbol that represents Satanism or the Illuminati, says Snopes. So I'm getting a bit worried about Snopes. What am I supposed to believe now?
What? Okay, I found something called the table of heat capacities. Isobaric heat capacity versus molar heat
Brucey
capacity.
says, I thought you meant thermally conductive.
Oh, thermally conductive, yes. Silver, copper is... That's weird, actually. Copper's more conductive of heat than aluminium, but aluminium can dissipate heat faster than copper. How does that work?
Well, it just gets rid of it faster than copper does. That's all. Just disposes it, gets rid of it quicker.
Yeah, but I'm thinking so if copper can heat up faster than aluminium, but it gives away the heat slower.
Yeah.
Surely you'd think, no, copper can heat up faster and it can cool down faster. How is it?
No, it's the other way around.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. Right, so according to this table, the isobaric mass heat capacity, hydrogen has got 14.3, helium's 5.1, water is 4.18. So hydrogen can hold more heat, but at room temperature, it's going to be a gas. Ammonia holds more heat than water.
That reminds me of that. Have you ever heard that thing when like toddlers are asked questions, and it's one says God's everywhere and nowhere and all this kind of stuff. So he said, so the kid said, oh, he's a bit like a gas then.
Ah, yeah. All right, so ammonia can hold
Byray
more
wants to hear you say aluminium again.
aluminium.
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 Bully the
Aluminium.
anti-Billy wants, but Bully the anti-Billy wants me to ask Snopes how bright his jerk-off crystal should be before comparison a kid's electric bike.
Is there can you put a jerk-off crystal on a USB? What can you charge up with a jerk-off crystal?
It has to be pure white. That's before you can use it. It has to be pure white.
What if you're black? Would it become brown?
Oh, Snopes are scared of the jerk-off crystal question.
Ah, see, now we're getting into the real crux of the matter.
Mm.
If not even Snopes has got an opinion on it, you know we're getting into some deep esoteric truths here.
Yeah.
Mercury's not on this list actually. Water. Hang on. Glass, carbon dioxide, silica. Come on, where's Mercury? Mercury's right at the bottom. 0.1395.
Yeah, the Western Power when they're putting power in, they do use aluminium cores as well.
Gold is 0.129, so gold holds even less heat than mercury can.
Does a jerk-off crystal have to be inserted like a sounding rod to work? We're just going to get jerking rod questions now, aren't we?
From my understanding, you wear it as a necklace, and I don't know.
You jerk off with your buddy, don't you?
You'd have to, yeah.
Do you need the buddy to power up the jerk off crystal? Is the buddy necessary,
Yeah.
or is it optional?
I'm guessing it's if you're trying to saw a tree and you've got a 2-man saw, you can saw it by yourself. But if you've got a buddy, you saw it in half the time, so maybe you charge up the crystal in half the time.
Do the tips of the crystal have to touch each other to charge?
Tip docking.
You'll have to ask the guy because
Guy.
Should we get him on? If anybody knows the jerk off crystal guy, we'll get him on. We'll get him on.
Yeah.
And talk about
anybody's got a Craigslist, ask jerk off crystal guy if he's willing to talk about alternative energy with us.
Oh.
Well, who tends the fire? Donnie says, does Hobbit get a Brazilian wax before charging? No, you don't get a Brazilian wax before charging because the thermal effect from Brazilian waxing kind of messes the crystal up, doesn't it, Hobbit?
I'm not an expert on jerk off crystals, so yeah.
We need an expert.
But they don't cross them.
Are we going to get on with some content? Or are we just going to talk about jerk off crystals for 2 hours?
This is the show.
This is your life now.
Yeah.
Yep. So, that was it. Red bricks. I've got the article about red bricks here. Storing energy in red bricks. So let's do that. This is from ScienceDaily.com, your one and only source for jerk-off crystal news. So this was the 11th of August 2020, and it's the Washington University in St. Louis. St. Louis? Do you pronounce the S on St. Louis or not?
I think it's St. Louis. I think you're right, Hobbit.
Yeah, St. Louis. Yeah.
But, would you call someone Louis, or would you call them Louis?
Depends, brother. Louis.
I thought it was Louis. It doesn't matter. So the summary, red bricks, some of the world's cheapest and most familiar building materials, can be converted into energy storage units that can be charged to hold electricity. Like a battery, according to new research, chemists have developed a method to make or modify smart bricks that can store energy until required for powering devices.
Smart brick.
This brick's so smart. I'm going to throw it through your window. It's smart. A proof of concept study shows a brick directly powering a green LED light.
Wow.
Okay, so
Well done, science.
what voltage are we doing that? I think different
Christmas light. It's a Christmas light, isn't it?
different LEDs use different voltages. So let me just find out voltage of green LED. I think blue is the highest voltage and red's the lowest. Voltage of green LED. Let's see what I can get. How much voltage green energy needs to be supplied? That will do. Green is 2.2 volts. True green, 3.3. Okay.
Oh.
So we're talking about anywhere from 2.2 to 3.3 volts. What's the difference between green and true green then?
The mystery deepens.
Oh, well, that's interesting. An IR LED needs 1.5 volts. Red uses 2. So when you think about like the remote control, that you've got like 2 AA batteries or AAA batteries in there, and they use an infrared LED. But then surely it should just work on one then, because that's 3 volts. What's going on here? This doesn't make sense to me. Mind you, not a lot makes sense to me right now. The way I feel I think I need a jerk off crystal to charge up my organ vril chi energy. Wow, sorry, I see this related news to the red brick crystals. Children who eat more fruit and veggies have better mental health. Amazing. What will science tell us next? So red bricks, yeah, we said that bit. Smart proof of concept, yeah. Our method works with regular brick or recycled bricks, and we can make our own bricks as well. Well, thank you, Julia D'Arcy.
D'Arcy is a bit
Right.
Juicy Arcy. Juicy Arse? Assistant Professor of Chemistry.
So they've discovered that actually red brick can hold a charge, right? What for?
Yeah.
What can it be used? How do you get a charge out of it to power an electric thing?
Well, the first bit I got to ask is, like, red brick, is that like iron oxide?
Yes.
So the ochre is giving it the iron oxide, and I'm guessing it's conductive enough that. But there must be a fair bit of resistance in there. But maybe that's the idea. Like, here's an idea. You know how they say like in the olden days, these buildings, they didn't have fireplaces.
Nope.
And the things which they call fireplaces are too small to be them, and they got these copper cladding on them. And you'd say like, well, why not use cast iron, because copper would just absorb the heat and wick it away. Well, you use copper because it's a good conductor of heat. So, it's a good conductor of electricity.
Yeah.
So these buildings, which have got these antennas sticking out on them, and they're
maybe it's not a chimney for maybe it's an antenna.
Well, that's what and it's a conduit. So what if it's like the copper is taking electricity from the air, or maybe it's working like a dipole, so it's getting both electricity from the air and the earth, and the potential difference is where you get a voltage and then current, and then it dissipates the electricity into the red brick or stone walls without electrocuting people inside them. Because,
grounded then as well, right?
Yeah. Well, actually, if you ground it, it will dissipate the energy. So you want to store the energy in the bricks or the stone somehow.
Yeah, but how do you not like get fucking Doc Einstein's hairdo? Why not touching the bricks then?
Oh well, that's static electricity. Oh, okay. No, actually, no. You know what? The way you're saying, if it's grounded because they're all connected to ground, that's absolutely fine. Because
Donnie says infrared spectrum or fluorescent spectrum.
Well, fluorescing minerals is one thing. Fluorescing means like when you expose. Sorry, I just saw. Oh, okay. No, I'm looking outside my window and I see flashing lights, but it's a street far away. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. A fluorescent mineral is something that will fluoresce, as in give off light, when exposed to ultraviolet light. So it's taking ultraviolet radiation, it's converting it into visible light radiation. So, like, the slogan for Daz and other detergents is whiter than white. It means that, because the ultraviolet light, when it shines on it, it will glow white. And the sun has a bit of ultraviolet light to it. That's why you can get sunburnt on really sunny days. So if you, I'm not endorsed by Daz, by the way. I'm just saying that they use the fluorescing minerals in the detergent so that it lays on your clothes, your whites, and that's how they get whiter than white on a hot sunny day. That's it. Back to the right. Back to these crystals. Sorry, the bricks. Well,
Wait, are you saying Daz is just painting my gravy stains white? It's not actually cleaning my gravy stains.
Well, bleach does the same, doesn't it? Bleach doesn't get rid of limescale; it just bleaches it white.
It's all a lie. It's just all everything's a lie.
If you got limescale, you need to dissolve it using an acid like vinegar. That'll get rid of it. But with your clothes, the Daz is a detergent, so it's still getting rid of all your gravy and grass stains from when you're playing rugby, because everyone's playing rugby that uses Daz, and they all show that. Or at least back when I watched adverts, they did. But then, in addition to that, it's not a cleaning detergent. It's just some fluorescing mineral. I'm not sure what the mineral's called. I could probably find out. It's not titanium dioxide.
Acetic acid or muriatic acid, Hobbit.
Yeah, that's vinegar. But anyway, it's got a fluorescing mineral on it. And the way I found that is there was this thing called laser tag, I think is another term for it.
Yeah.
And when I used to go there, I used to just skive off of school, and I'd stick out like a sore thumb because I'd have my school shirt on, which would just glow.
Right.
It would glow violet because of all the UV lights they'd have there, and they're just like, oh, I can see you, and it's like, yep, it's. And I was like, why is it that this glows bright? And then I tried it like
because you're a glowy Hobbit, that's why.
Yeah,
I do glow in the dark, but why is it that this glows white? But then I look at paper and stuff, and it doesn't. And it's like because white clothes are washed with whiter than white, like Daz, and I'm sure there's other brands of washing up detergent are available. So that's like everyone who cottages uses slip bang.
bang.
Everybody who plays rugby uses Daz. Well, the implication from the adverts was, you got grass stains on your shirts because you're having a rough and tumble tackling in rugby, and you got mud, and you got baked on casserole because you're a slob who, doesn't eat at a table. Just like you have the plate next to your mouth and shoveling food in. But this is all an aside. I didn't want to talk about Christmas. I wanted to say about
Well, the whole episode so far has been an aside. I think we need to get to the main, don't we, Hobbit?
So now this is my speculation on how these old world buildings used to work. They didn't have fireplaces. They had conduits for ambient electrical energy, and they would dissipate through the stones or bricks of the building into the ground below. Now, as brick is not very conductive. There'll be a lot of resistance there. And as anybody who's done a bit of amateur electronics will know, if you put energy through a resistor, it will only let some of it go through. It resists, and the resistance comes in the form of heat. It turns electricity into heat, and that's the basis of any electrical heater, by the way. It's just using resistors to heat up your room, or heat up whatever it is. And so if you've got your bricks and you're feeding them electricity from it's not a fireplace, it's a copper conductor of electricity. These bricks will
three bath. Oh, what are you talking about? You're talking about storage heaters, yeah.
And one, just like any form of electric, like an electric fire, an immersion heater, toasters.
It depends, doesn't it? Because you get
kettles.
Some of it. The old ones are just like literally fucking red hot bits of metal, aren't they? And then they got more. Then they got more advanced. You got ceramics and things like that, didn't you?
But the operating principle is the same. You put electric into it, and they glow red hot because they're giving off. They're turning electricity.
It's a controlled short circuit. That's why it's glowing red hot, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah,
it's a short that's not going to burn out.
No, because it's controlled. It's a controlled amount of current.
Yeah.
So, these buildings, these old.
Is this true? What Brucey Kibbutz is saying? Hobbit would cheat by charging his laser during a match.
Charging his laser during a match?
I don't know about charging the laser. I've only ever done it 2 or 3 times.
Well, there's not many ways you can cheat at Laser Quest. I mean, one way would be you're tucking your arm over one of the sensors so that if somebody's trying to shoot that one, they can't do it, but then they're probably going to shoot one of your other sensors. The other way to cheat is quite fun is you have your mate stand behind you, so you're a human shield, and then you're using your gun and his gun to shoot somebody else, and that's always quite fun. Or the other way you do it is like you're back to back, so your mate and them, and you give him your
Brucey's
gun.
saying you'd smuggle your jerk-off crystals in there for unfair advantage of it.
Imagine using prisms in Laser Quest. What would that do?
Yeah.
But so anyway,
Right. So
No,
back to the red
really-
bricks.
I really want to get into this
Yeah,
because I think I've figured out how these old world buildings work. They get electricity from the air, they dissipate it into the ground through the stones or red bricks, and as they dissipate in the heat, it would warm up these stones. That's why you don't see any radiators or fireplaces or braziers in any of these castles and old buildings,
Yep.
except for when like Great Reset people came in. It's like, oh, it doesn't work anymore. We'll have to bring a fire in because the actual building itself. Imagine not just.
Yeah, we have no idea what this is. Why? What is this thing? Oh, let's put a fire in here.
Imagine not just underfloor heating, but wall heating, ceiling heat. Like you're getting heat from everything in it, and then like you would have some sort of like electrical vents, which you could regulate the flow of electricity into your room, and that way. That way, like if it's too hot or too cold, you can open and close the vent to control the flow of electricity in. So I reckon that's how these old buildings work. Now, so
Well, a lot of old houses used to have underfloor heating.
did they?
Mm.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you find a lot of domestic houses have three-phase electricity. That's because they used to have underfloor heating.
Because
What was it? What was it connected to? What was it connected to?
Electric. It was electric.
Was it
underfloor
connected to
heating.
electric? Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't just a weird. Oh, why is there this copper plating under the floor? Kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right.
yeah, because I mean the Romans prior to that used what they called the hypercaust, which was it wasn't the Holocaust, it was the hypercaust, and
Is that even bigger? Is that the 6 Gorillion?
It's because it's hyper in it. So
Yeah.
the hypercaust makes like you got it's hyper. No, sorry, they'd have a fire underneath the floors, and then the heat from the fire would go underneath the tiles of the floor.
Aren't the Somalian immigrants bringing that back?
Well, Grenfell Tower was not a controlled hypercaust, and unfortunately, it didn't work because somebody said, no, you can't have a barbecue inside your flat because reasons, which is racist.
Health and safety.
Yeah, health and
safety
gone mad. Look, if they want to like barbecue a goat inside their flat, who are we to tell them no, you can't do that?
Bigotry.
Yeah, it's bigotry. Yeah.
It is bigotry, really is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that is my theory on how these old buildings heated themselves. The literal building materials are it. Because do you remember we had this argument with Phil? Like I was winding him up about like Russians are worthless, Slavs are worthless, and they've contributed nothing. And then he's going on about all the great Russian inventions, like the radiator,
which were actually Teslas.
Yeah. Oh well, actually no. The two which were not attributed to Tesla would be the Ferriman and the radiator. And I thought, well, hang on, the radiator. What you mean, like a cast iron thing you put like hot water, steam, or oil through? Because the botanical gardens in Oxford, they had steam pipes to heat things where it wasn't a radiator, but they are radiating heat. So that predates radiators. But then the Russians figured that, but a radiator increases the surface area of a hot pipe, therefore keeps things hotter for
longer.
It makes like the transfer.
Well, the old
heat
ones were cast iron, weren't they? The original radiators were cast iron, weren't they?
Hobbit, check it general. There's an R value chart for insulation materials. Oh, okay, that's
some of the I know some of the district heating on some of the council estates. You know, with the big tower blocks, they actually have district heating where the heating's basically free. It goes through through the houses. Apparently, it takes a V8 engine to pump it round. They use a V8 engine.
Oh Jesus!
So what is that? Is that oil, water, gas?
Water.
Water. They're pumping round.
Because I remember in San Francisco they said something about like the old steam heat system of that city was getting replaced, or they said it wasn't
But it's
efficient.
that weird thing in New York where they've always got the steam coming out of the ground, haven't they? I don't know what the explanation for that is.
They say it's due to the subway, but I don't know, like, what does the New York metropolitan transport thing? Do they have like steam boilers everywhere? What's the steam for? But, it's,
maybe that's another thing to look into one day.
Brucey says people have used hot springs for heating in that way for thousands of years. Yeah, so they would have like hot water go through these pipes, and then the pipes would heat things up, and it's to do it. Now, one of the things I wanted to do a bit more research into heat exchangers, because I was going to say, okay, in addition to like speculating about sources of energy and jerk-off crystals, what's like a tangible like alternative energy?
I can explain the New York thing. Underneath the streets of Manhattan, there are more than 100 miles of service pipes bringing steam to 1,800 buildings. Steam may seem like a primitive source of energy. Think of steamboats, steam engines. We don't use those anymore. But when New York's first power plant opened in 1882, steam from clean water greatly reduced the amount of soot created by individual coal-burning furnaces, which were the primary source of heat at the time.
So, in other words, it's like here's a combined heat and power station, which is like this great new idea of if you live close to a power station, then why not have like the water from the cooling tower be pumped into your houses, and then your radiators are taking hot water from the power station, because otherwise it's just going to be wasted heat.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, it's like the Hook Norton Brewery.
How do they keep it warm, though, over 100 miles?
Well, there's a lot of heat involved.
Yeah.
And if you bury the pipes underground,
I suppose if the steam's constantly going through, the pipes aren't going to cool down.
It'd have to be constant. Yeah, it'd have to be. Yeah.
It's not I suppose after a while the ground can absorb a lot of heat, but then it doesn't. So you're just you saturate the ground with heat, and then the heat goes into other places. So like if you've like been away for a while and you come back and all the radiators are cold and you turn the heat on, and at first nothing happens, but then like
it takes ages to warm the house when you haven't been in it for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's superheated steam. It's 400 degrees C plus.
Off license says Stirling engine Hobbit. So hang on, Capstan's messaging me. Not now, doing the Thursday show.
Did you tell him we found his back? Just tell him Draskus.
Oh,
we found you back on Twitter.
I won't mention that unless he pops on. Off license, is that dry steam or is that wet steam? Because
dry steam.
no, that is a real term. There's like like I'm not sure if you're that interested in steam engines, but Jesus Christ, Capstan, I'm gonna have to mute you, otherwise this like people messaging me I find very distracting.
What the fuck? Apparently Jim Dowson is using cryptocurrency rigs to heat his new chapel.
Yeah. Well, why not? So he's got a chapel, and I suppose he's got tax breaks because it's a religious thing, and you've got to heat up the building, so you get good rates on electricity. Yeah, you just
Are you saying that's where the graphics card went?
Yeah.
Jim Dawson's chapel.
Jim Dawson's nicked him.
There's some pink lights.
It's very dry steam. A little bit.
Very dry steam. Yeah. Let me find like the term dry steam vs wet steam, because there's like steam recondensing. Let's see if I can find an image which sort of says
dry steam just heat a bit.
No, it's actually it is steam, and it's very hot. But it's like wet steam is water vapor, which is very hot and it's got steam in it, whereas dry steam is nearly all steam. Did you know that boilers do not
water vapor?
Yes.
Right,
steam is dry by its nature. It only gets like
is invisible.
Wet when it
can't see
cools
it.
down.
What you're seeing is the steam
to water vapor.
condenses. It turns into water vapor, which you can see. So I'm reading from something called a steam specialist company. It says, "Did you know that boilers do not generate 100% saturated steam?"
So dry steam must be superheated, because because basically you've turned water into a gas, haven't you?
So when a steam boiler heats up water, bubbles breaking through the water surface will pull tiny water droplets in with the steam. Unless a superheater is used, this will cause the steam supply to become partially wet steam from the added liquid. The steam dryness fraction is used to quantify the amount of water within steam. If steam contains 10% water by mass, it is said to be 90% dry, or have a dryness fraction of 0.9. Steam dryness is important because it has a direct effect on the total amount of transferable energy contained within the steam, usually just latent heat. So this was all figured out in the Victorian era because they were big into like using steam power, and they figured that if they get like the wet steam from the boiler, but then they send that wet steam through a series of tubes, just like the internet's a series of tubes, and heat that again, that's called the super.
Well, like vacuum tubes, like they use in. No,
there was this old meme, like a befuddled boomer senator in like the early 2000s was saying that the internet's going to clog up because it's like a series of tubes, so they have to regulate what people can do with it.
Interdimensional Lizard has corrected you, Hobbit. So dry steam is all vapor and no droplets.
That's it, yeah. And PV equals nRT. I don't know what those values are, but so...
Donnie's going to pop on in a bit, and then he can explain.
Steam tables contain values such as enthalpy, which is H, specific volume V, and entropy S. Well, that's not PV. Senator Ted Stevens is the one who says a series of tubes. That's Lizard told us that.
Yeah. My favourite one is the one I can only be stopped if I find a live girl or a dead. But if I'm found in bed with a live girl or a dead girl or a live boy.
Oh, okay. I'm looking at a nice diagram. Maybe I should share this so that people can see what I'm looking at. But there's an animated GIF here showing like a tube with steam in it.
Yeah, it is the guy. There was a guy called Edwin Edwards. He said the only way I can lose is if I'm caught in bed with either a dead girl or a live boy.
Isn't that the guy in the band that did "I Never Met a Girl Like You Before"?
No, he was a senatorial candidate, wasn't he?
Oh, okay. Because my dad listened to that song and he says, "Oh, it'd have been better if David Bowie sung the song." Yeah, but David Bowie didn't sing the song, did he? It was Edwin Collins.
Edwin Edwards. No, yeah, Edwin Collins. Edwin Edwards has come out with some crackers. He said he's so slow it takes an hour and a half to watch 60 Minutes.
Yeah. So
I never speak ill of dead people or live judges.
Right. So here's some tangible like things, alternative energy. What is like technology I definitely understand, and one of them is heat exchangers, also called a refrigerator or air conditioning. What you're doing is you're taking heat from one area, and in the case of a refrigerator, you're taking the heat from inside the fridge and you're dumping it outside into the radiator on the back of your fridge. That's why, like, even though the inside's cold, the other side is hot.
In other words, it's a heat exchanger, Hobbit.
It's a heat exchanger, that's right. And the heat exchange can work in reverse. You can take like heat from the ambient environment.
Air source. Is it air source pumps or ground source pumps?
So it's still the same principle. It doesn't matter what medium you've got your heat exchanger in, but a ground source or water source heat exchanger will be more efficient because of the latent heat capacity of water and soil compared to air. But here's how to make like free energy, right? Provided you get all the materials. You get your refrigerants license so you can use something better than ammonia. If not, you use ammonia. You make a heat exchanger. One side of your heat exchanger you've got attached to a pond, or you've got attached to the air. The other side of your heat exchanger you've got a compressor. And in the compressor, it's going to get really hot because that's where you're taking the heat from your pond, your air, your soil, and you're getting it to a point where ideally it's above boiling point. Now, you're going to need something to cool that down, otherwise the machine's going to break. So what you do is you use a radiator to heat up water to the point where it starts boiling. And then when it starts boiling, you can attach a steam turbine to the other end. Now, in addition to that, we know that wet steam inhibits the efficiency.
Well, if you've got a turbine, you can then have a dynamo, can't you?
Or you can have an alternator. Or, yeah, dynamo, alternator, generator. You have a generator of sorts.
Hobbit, how are you going to stop the lake or body of water from just evaporating another time?
You do a rain dance so that God will rain upon your lake and so it doesn't evaporate.
But it's not exactly free energy then. If it's not self-perpetuating, is it? It's going to boil off.
Yeah, you're gonna be nice and warm, but you're gonna die of thirst.
Okay, so what? Right, I see. Yeah, because I'm saying about boiling water, and you're taking the boiling water. So the thing is, in this system, you're not using all the water you've got. Like you could say, oh, this lake takes in this many millions of gallons every week, or this many thousands of gallons every week. So therefore, if I've got a steam turbine which gets through 100 gallons every week, well, it's only using a tenth of what's coming in. So you can continue doing that. It doesn't have to be this system. Or alternatively, you could use, as someone mentioned in the chat, a Stirling engine where you don't use steam at all. It's not as efficient, mind you. So that's what I'm saying about you're using heat in the heat exchanger to boil water to drive a steam turbine, which then you can then superheat. Now, could you superheat it using this system? The alternative I can think what you do is use a generator, and then you're producing electricity, and then I think the superheater would just be heated up with electric coils. But either way, you scale this system up till you're getting more heat.
Hobbit, I've just got to interrupt you. Mrs. has sent me a story for Tuesday. NHS nurse claimed she was secretly hypnotised to make her fart at work.
No, that is an alternative engine I could get into.
No. Methane.
What? Yeah,
Methane.
That's an alternative energy. That's like
Cow farts. Let's go.
No, that's Mad Max 3, the Brat Farm. Who run Bartertown? Off license says ocean thermal energy conversion works on that principle. Hobbit. Funny enough, my dad and I were talking about this in the early 90s. He was saying about like using the Sailor Klein and saying like, well, look, the Sailor Klein, it's like this. It's a static boundary. Like the chemistry of ocean water changes depending on how you get up, and it's a very like static boundary, and it doesn't change that. It's weird how like you think like a liquid body of water, it doesn't actually mix up that much. There's even like a delineation between the North Sea and the Baltic Sea, and you can see like the Baltic Sea is green and the North Sea is grey or blue grey, and they don't mix. And it's like, what? That's water. How's it not mixing? And they don't. So Sailor Kleins, by the way, been known about at least since the age of submarines, because what submarine captains would do in order to throw off sonar pings is they go beneath the thermocline or Sailor Klein, and then sonar readings would get confused, and that could let them evade detection.
Well, isn't there also that case of, is it in the Mariana Trench, there's like a pool of like black liquid that's just like on the bottom?
Mariana Trench!
Yeah, it's just, the water difference.
Abyssal black Cthulhu spunk, because that's like the bottom of the ocean, and it's, I don't... But
it's clearly a liquid, but it's not dissipating into the water around it. Like, it's not, osmosis isn't taking place, right?
Even thinking about that gives me the heebie-jeebies. But I'll have to ask my dad, because it was like because I was going off during a school term, I had to do homework, and then I said, I'm bored of all this stuff. I mean, and he said, well, we did a bit of chemistry, and he says, there's loads of energy here. And then he came up with this idea saying like the different salinity levels. Like if you pumped up water from the bottom, and then the water at the top, which is a different thermal density, would go to the bottom, and then it could. I'll have to ask him because he drew it all out, and it made sense to me. And he says because this water, the convection of it will just pump and pump, and I'm pretty sure he was talking about salinity levels and not like heat levels. You just put like an impeller blade in it, and the water will just keep it going round and round. So, off license, is that ocean thermal energy conversion, or is it like you're using a heat exchanger to get the thing from it? And Who Tends the Fire says batch heating with steam is heated with steam of 5 bar or 6 bar absolute. 1 bar is 1 atmosphere, right? From a temperature of 35 to 100 degrees over a period of 20 minutes. The mass of water is 50 kilograms. Heat of water is 4.19 kilojoules per kilogram Celsius. Yeah, I'm surprised water's not like it. Water is readily available and it's got like huge, but like ammonia holds more than it, and that's fairly easy to get hold of. And then like helium and hydrogen can hold even more thermally, but good luck trying to liquefy that. Use a loop with liquid heater to turn a turbine. Bloody big loop needed. Well, I mean, at these sorts of scales, I think this would be quite a good thing. Like we're saying, like the way they heat the Canary Islands is they
Well, geothermal, right?
Oh, I suppose they could, especially in La Palma, yeah. But I think
to stick a rod in it.
yeah, when I first heard like that they were the islands were erupting, I thought, oh, they mean Tenerife or Gran Canaria.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, it's La Palma. Electricity. What if I type in energy generation in the Canary Islands? I bet there'll be a load of bollocks about wind and solar, which just means gas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. First thing that comes up is a PDF of renewable energies in the Canary Islands.
Of course.
Yeah, Canary Islands electricity system, which is from re.es. So, Royal Decree 7 regulates since production. Oh, the main functions. Red Electricas carries out its activities from main office in Tenerife. Yeah, I just want to. I want like a graph showing.
Use thermo power from volcanoes.
Yeah, they use geothermal because they got lots of hot vents, haven't they? I just want a pie chart showing me like what is the energy sources. Like in Malta, the energy source in Malta is we get a cable from Sicily and buy electricity from them. But when it's cheaper to do so, we turn on our oil generator in the southeast of the island and use that instead. But this is bollocks. This isn't telling me anything. It's just like, oh, we're committed to using green energy in the Canary Islands, wind and solar. Fuck you.
The whole thing, honestly, I don't know. At this point, I'm thinking that.
This is a good one. Decarbonisation in the Canary Islands by 2040. La Palma would like a word about your decarbonising agenda.
That doesn't count, Hobbit. Yeah. That doesn't count. That's not going to destroy the world. All that volcanic activity.
Oil is renewable.
No.
Yeah. Oil's a biological substance, isn't it?
No, it's completely abiogenic. Oil is produced by methane condensation in the Moravitic discontinuity line. And I can be a flat Earth enjoyer and still say we've got lava which comes up from Earth.
I mean, if you want to go and read the Ezekiel 28, 12 to 17, I believe, it mentions that about Lucifer and how God, he looked upon God's creation of the hot rocks below. So it's a bit weird that. Maybe there's something to that then, isn't there?
I think there is, and especially considering how toxic all this stuff. I mean, my mum was saying, "Oh, I I saw in the news today, they said they had to evacuate everyone from the islands, not because the lava's dangerous, I mean it is, but because all the toxic gases are spewing out. It's like, yeah, it's almost as if our ancestors saying hell is below. They're right about it with like the fire and brimstone, because like a major thing that it's off-putting, like the real pollution is not carbon dioxide, that's good, is the sulfur dioxide. I mean, you get that from burning sulfur. That's brimstone. So, yeah. Oh, I'm reading a bit more about this red brick thing. They've come up with a bullshit term for it. They're saying that in this work we have developed a coating of conducting polymer PDOT.
Well, this is it, Hobbit. This is them coming up with this now to like the fact that it's a cover story. This is just like a cover story for the fact that they know this shit exists in these old buildings, and they're just going to try and replicate it now, even though
it is a bit very interesting. So, ignoring the fact that they're calling this conducting polymer PDOT, we'll ignore that. We'll ignore like conducting pedos. Is the fact that they're saying that the polymer is comprised of nanofibers that penetrate the inner porous network of a brick. So, wattle and daub is a medieval building technique, which is really fun to do, by the way. If you don't mind the smell, so what you do is you get cow shit, you get is it limestone or is it clay, and then you get hair. And what happens is the cow shit's elastic, the hair gives it fibrous strength, and the clay just is like bulking the material out. And you've got your wattles, which is a bunch of like reeds or willow sticks you've wattled back and forth with the posts. And then you slap on the daub, just like you do with like a mortar or a plaster. Like if you're plastering a wall.
Didn't somebody we used to do YouTube videos with recommend having cow shit on the inside of your house? Of it.
Yeah, but he was just like, oh, the engines are actually really good because if you smear cow shit on your walls, it's like it's antifungal, and it's like, yeah, but it's kind of like saying that could like you know there are other ways of making a house hygienic. You don't have to smear cow shit over it, but wattle and daub. Let me just find out because so what's the material? It is wet soil, clay, sand, animal dung, and straw. Well, I heard hair was used as well. But the point with that is it actually makes really strong walls which are elastic, and it's the cow shit which gives it the elasticity. But now the bit which I find interesting about that article talking about the conductive red bricks with coating them in the PDOT polymer is they're talking about nanofibers, and they're saying, sorry for this tangent, but I need to go into another composite material. Are either of you familiar with Damascus steel?
Ooh.
Damascus, that's the folded, isn't it?
Well, yeah, Damascus steel is folded, but
no, I know about this because I watch what's it called?
Forged in Fire.
Forged in Fire, that's it.
Yeah. Well, Damascus steel, also known as Wootz steel, is these ingots of iron. They'd wrap these in India. This is where the Wootz came from. Actually, no, that's the thing. It's not, because they found it's a mine in Jordan. No. So anyway, the mine is in Jordan, contains iron with these minute traces of chromium in it, which is interesting because high-speed steel is something else. Chromium steel is very good for high-strength drill bits, which retain their sharpness. No, Wootz steel would then go. Wootz iron ore from Jordan would go to India. They'd wrap these palm leaves around it and burn it in a fire, and then the leaves would form like not charcoal but char fibers, which would then get embedded into the refined iron ore, which is now iron ingots. except it's not iron ingots because of the carbon content of the charring has turned it into wood steel, which would then be turned into Damascus steel with this beautiful patterning. Now, this is a composite material, and modern attempts to recreate it, they have all failed until some American blacksmith, who's actually quite famous and he's a world famous swordsmith as well, got some of this ore from the Jordanian mines, which are still used today. Got the ore, turned it into steel. I think he used coke in his forge to do it, so he didn't wrap leaves around it, but it still imparted enough carbon to turn it into steel. And then he did it, and then he's like, yeah, it's remarkably sharp, it's got great elastic properties, just like they said it used to have. And then they did professional metallurgical analysis on this. Said, yeah, you've got parts per billion vanadium and chromium in there. And it's it turns out even a few parts per billion of chromium is enough to give it these remarkable properties. Now, I mention all this stuff because you'd think, well, a few parts per billion wouldn't have any effect, and yet it does. And if we refer back to a previous Fortean words, where we did about electronics, and I did about the weird thing about
Damien says the British taught the Africans about Watland Daub in the 1500s, and they've been using it ever since.
So, I did a previous episode about the weird thing about silicon doping, where it's silicon's not conductive, but then if you dope it with a few parts per billion of copper or some other stuff, it will conduct. And then we've got semiconductors, which my dad reckons the Roswell crash, it was all reverse engineered from that. And he reckons everything up to the modern processors we're using with the advanced lithography techniques where we can have things a few nanometers across, it's all being reverse engineered from that. So
I have a theory on what alchemy, ancient old world alchemy was, and it's kind of similar to what you're saying here. It's not actually turning things into other things, but it's augmenting the properties so that it makes something that isn't conductive now conductive, even though it's not really changed its composition, right?
Well, this is what I'm wondering with this pedo-T polymer they're talking about with the red bricks. It's you try and put electricity through a red brick and it won't work. And in fact, I know that for a fact because there's a photonic induction video where he melts a spanner using billions of amps or a few thousand amps, and he does it on top of a red brick. Now, if that brick conducted electricity, there'd be problems, but it doesn't, even though it's got iron ore in it. So you have to use this pedo-T polymer with its nanofibers, which is a composite material similar to silicon doping, where you're using a few parts per billion to make the silicon semiconductive, or Damascus steel, where you're using a few parts per billion of this chromium and other manganese and things like that, and it gives it incredible properties. It makes it the best steel in the world. Even to this day, the best steel for cutting is Damascus steel. So this pedo-T polymer, perhaps that is what our pre-reset ancestors knew about, where they're just you do this in the bricks, and then you have a lime mortar, and well, that's the thing. The lime mortar's not conductive, so there must be they must have done something with the bricks to make them conduct in between them. And now I'm starting to think about
Roman concrete. Are you thinking, how did they make that then?
Well, no, not the Roman concrete exactly, but the weird polygonal buildings like we see. Machu Picchu's a famous example.
Yeah,
you see
Starfort things. Are you on about or?
No, they well, actually, yes, because the Star Fort in Malta, the Valletta, which the capital city is built on a massive star fort. If you look at the bottom foundations of that, which they say are Bronze Age, those are polygonal bricks. And I was like, wow, that's incredible. Those bricks down there are much more advanced and much more finer tolerances than the bricks further up. And then it's nobody knows how they built them. Now, in Machu Picchu, they found that in between these massive stone blocks where you can't even fit like a Rizzler paper between them, the tolerance is that fine. And you sort of look at the sloppy work the mestizos do today, with the buildings and stuff, and it's like...
Off-license says lime mortar is exothermic.
Yeah, it will give off heat when it's doing, but I don't think it's electrically conductive. And I know somebody who works with lime mortar, and let me just send him a message, see if he responds during the thing. He's a bit antisocial, but let's just send him a message, and I can always do it in addition to next week's episode. Is lime mortar electrically conductive? ? What are the ingredients? And then I'll send him the thing about... I'm going to send him the Science Daily thing. Have a read about that. Iron oxide in bricks could be used to store energy like a capacitor. Right, okay, so I'll send that out, see if he responds. So... these Machu Picchu blocks, in between them, they have these copper connectors. They're like little, I want to say, like a cross section of a steel girder is also called an I-beam because the cross section.
Yeah. I know what you're on about. Yeah, the little things.
Imagine a fat I-beam. Now people are speculating, saying that it can't be for structural support because if those bricks move, it will just shear the copper straight off. So what is this copper doing? And all I can think is, well, copper's a good conductor of electricity, and some were speculating maybe it's some sort of lightning defense. And I thought, well,
copper also expands and contracts. Could it be something to do with that?
Yeah, but
why would you build it inside your stonework?
I don't know. Would there be some reason for it? I don't know.
Well, it's not holding each brick to each other. That's the thing. It's not like a brace.
It's too fine. So, do those? No, because if the stone walls like expanded, contracted, then we'd have like I've seen weathering on rocks. They call it onion skin peeling, and that shows like in deserts where you get big differences between day and night. So you'll see like it's almost like peeling layers of an onion skin. The bricks will the boulders will like peel off, and these bricks, these stones, whatever they are, polygonal blocks, they don't do that. They don't show signs of weathering. I don't think they expand and contract firmly. I think the copper's there to conduct electricity from one brick to another because, the tolerances are pretty fine, but they're not like perfectly flat. They're not. So that would not be a good conductor. So that's why you'd use copper links between them, which would be. Yeah. So these but the thing is these stones, they weren't used. Well, were they used? Because I'm only like looking in my head at memories I've seen of like David Icke and other people going to Machu Picchu and saying like, look at the precision in these stones. And I can't say like
Roman concrete was made from volcanic ash. That's the secret ingredient no one could figure out.
Also pumice, because the pumice means it can be like a third of the weight of normal concrete, like Portland cement.
Can you still buy pumice stones?
Yes, you can. My mate says he says it's not conductive unless it's got loads of water in it. Like if it's in wet soil, then I guess it can be. But lime mortar is mostly sand and calcium carbonate. It will hold heat, I guess. Well, I guess you did not get to the DVSA. Oh, yeah. I was on hold for 100 minutes and I gave up. Literally, like, I looked at the time and I was like, holy shit, I know this is like an 0300 number, but I feel like I'm going to get a massive phone bill for this. But yeah, no, I think it was used to conduct electricity. So I've got speculation what the Machu Picchu walls were for, because they're saying, oh, these walls were to keep like people out. It's like you're on top of a fucking mountain.
Yeah, exactly. What were you trying to keep out?
Surely, like the defense there is that you're not really going to get a siege engine up the mountain unless you're the Romans and you got some Jews to exterminate. In which case, like
he's got Hannibal with his elephants.
Yeah.
Yeah, was that siege of? I can't remember what the siege was, but I think it was Hadrian or so. Was like really fed up with the Jews, and he did a war against Judea, and there was like this fortress, and they did a siege, and it lasted for like 3 years or something, and then like the day when they're about to break in, and their siege engines are at the walls. Like the bitches they are, they rage quit and all commit suicide so that the Roman legionaries can't have like the glory of killing them. Fucking bitches. Oh, and it's a major like Jewish holiday. They're celebrating like rage quitting from life because they wanted to deny the Romans the victory they were so
Don't
desperate
they usually
for.
celebrate every time they've been shit on that?
Oh, Off License says it's the Siege of Jerusalem. Turley says it's the Masada thing. I think it's Masada because it wasn't a big thing. It was like
No.
it's a fortress up in the hills somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, they don't. Aren't most of their things about being like sneaky beaky and like killing people in their sleep and stuff, aren't they?
Or murdering their children and
Yeah.
then laughing at how like the anguish it's causing all their children dying but this is alternative energies, and whilst harvesting the anguish of your foes is a form of energy, that's black magic. And I rather focus in like what did our ancestors do for this, and I reckon these red bricks were actually like super advanced technology, which you may think, oh, come off of it. I mean, like especially really in the north of England, like Derby or somewhere, and you're looking at the red bricks there, and it's just like you cut this. This is about as mundane as it gets. It's literally like you got some red clay, you bake it in an oven, but then you look into like, have you actually looked at how difficult it is to bake a red brick? I was looking into how it was done, and it was only like in the 19th century did they figure out like reliable brick kilns. Before then, like almost like 60% of the bricks were unusable because they'd overdone them, or there was water in it causing the bricks to explode, or they let too much air get in and then it burnt too fast and then the bricks crumbled. And it's like
I've actually been in a place where they test bits of concrete. They just have like chunks of concrete all over the place. They have them in baths and they're doing tests on them and stuff like that. It's interesting place.
Fun.
It is. I mean, it really is like, if you're into material science like I am, bricks, concrete, and stuff like that, they really are. And the idea that, like, these modern sort of retconning it, so I think this is why all the science is called research, isn't it? Because they're just researching for things in the past. They're not.
Aren't doctors practicing, aren't they?
Yeah, it's like
Practicing, yeah.
Yeah, they're always practicing medicine, aren't they?
They're always and don't lawyers practice as well?
Yeah, well, that's it. They're because it's all like it's.
Well, never mind. If I fuck it up, you can pay it.
Yeah, well, the practice basically means like, look, we're always experimenting and we're always learning from what we're doing. It's not like we've figured it all out and now this is the way to do it. So eventually there might become a time when doctors are no longer practicing and they just like understand this is how to do it. But yeah, I do like the idea, and I am gonna like say on the record now, and I'm prepared to eat shit and say I was wrong later on when jerk off crystal expert comes and correct me. But
Yeah.
I reckon in times gone past, our pre-reset ancestors did have like some sort of doping of the much like silicon doping. They were using like trace amounts of some material which made red bricks electrically conductive, or like stones in a castle were also electrically conductive. And they
Castles are an enigma in themselves.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, castles, if you look at them, are a really drafty, cold, damp place to live in, and yet the peasants' houses around them, which
They only had little windows as well, didn't they? Tiny windows.
But the peasants' houses were like these little, in comparison, they're just really much less refined, but more comfortable to live in because they had like a fire which actually warmed people up. So, no, castles, I think, were also these energy generating facilities. That's why they had the tall towers on them. Because really, look, if you've ever done archery and you've ever been up one of these tall towers and you know the range you can do with a bow and arrow, a tall tower is not that useful for doing it. Those little arrow slits at the bottom are far more useful vantage points for shooting at someone with a bow and arrow. I reckon the tall towers with the sticky thingy things at the top were energy generating facilities. And I'm just going to say it now, the actual materials, the walls they were built with were giving off heat. Because as the energy discharges into the ground, they're not perfect conductors. They were designed not to be perfect conductors because just like an electric fire, that bit of resistance is what's causing the electric energy, the heat.
So why did they add? So why did they add? Why do they have to add lightning conductors to churches and things?
Weren't lightning conductors?
Well, are they lightning conductors? That is the real question. Are they? Do they? Have you ever seen a lightning bolt ever strike one of these conductors?
Actually, yes, I have.
You have?
Yeah,
Really?
and it was in.
I have not seen any ever.
Right, so Madfuzz, you may remember the thing where the new pope was selected, the anti-pope,
right,
and lightning struck St. Peter's Basilica right at the top of it, which I think was a sign from God saying, "You fucked up here." He is not my vicar of God. And the thing is, it just if God is saying not my pope, he's certainly not my pope. Now,
I like the pope. The pope smokes dope.
If I start talking about the pope enough, well, Wild Jaff will appear and it's like, oh, Papist Hobbit, rimming the arsehole of Saint Jesuit Argentinian, but whatever. No.
Right. Okay. So you say you've seen these lightning rods strike.
I'm saying I'm not sure if it's a lightning rod, but the top of St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican was struck by lightning when the new pope was selected, and I was like, wow, if ever there was an omen, there's an omen.
Okay.
But no,
so what I'm saying is 99.9% of the time, these lightning does not strike these so-called antennas that lightning rods, right? They strike the ground. Or they strike people. There's more chance, but I have never seen one of these lightning rods ever really on live video footage ever be a conductor to pull the lightning towards it.
If you want to look at it after the show, I mean, I'll even find a link for it now. We'll do it, but I almost forgot. So I was saying about the castles dissipating heat, the towers, and that. All of these buildings always had a body of water around them. They say with the moats, oh, well, that was a defensive thing because you can't, march soldiers over that. And these star forts as well, they're all drained. And you see a lot of these star forts around coasts. The pyramids had water around them, Turley says. Yeah, Herodotus mentioned that as well. All of these were using water. And they were all producing electric energy.
Salt water, specifically, as well.
Is it? Because I think they're doing fresh water as well.
Where was this? Which ones were we talking about?
Well, so there are star forts which aren't connected to the coast. I'm trying to.
No, that's not true. They're all really coastal. Yeah, most of them are coastal. Yeah, I think 90% of them are coastal. Yeah, all on salt water as well.
Let me see if I can find some inland star forts. But there's certainly castles. I've been to castles in Bavaria which definitely had no salt water around them, but they would have been near the Danube or Rhine. What's the river that flows through Baden-Württemberg? Is it the Black Forest? It's 15 star-shaped forts from. I think it's either the Danube or the Rhine. And the point is, the castles, they would have had a body of water around it, and I don't think it's important whether it's salt water or not. Certainly the pyramids would have had Nile water, and that's fresh water. So I think the important thing is they had flowing water around them. Now, come on, you almost had this point. It was something about electricity and ions and doping about this. Come on, it was such a good point you had as well. They're dissipating electricity through stones. It was heat. That's it, infrared energy. Right. So,
infrared seems to be dropped. It seems to be dropped in favour of Bluetooth now, though, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah, in terms of communication, but infrared energy is very beneficial for people. When you are sunbathing and you go, and you got like nice sun on your back, the bit which is nice, that feels good, is the infrared energy. It's like, it feels nice, and it feels so good on the skin. Now, they don't have a sick bay on the International Space Station, and they didn't have it in Skylab.
We know what they do have on the International Space Station.
What's that?
The records of the M6 crash.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Can we get into that in a bit? I really need to do.
Yeah, we're not getting into it until
We're
we
not
can do it on
gonna-
a future episode when we've done some.
Okay. So, infrared energy. Infrared energy is very good for you, very beneficial. Don't have a sick bay on the International Space Station. They do have an infrared light panel, and so if ever the astronauts are injured anything.
Hobbit, the International Space Station is in
I
space.
know it's a load of bollocks. We've been over that before. But the fact is, it is true. Infrared energy is good for you. And it's been proven to speed up.
Light, you
to
mean?
work in a place that doesn't exist.
Infrared energy has been proven to do wound healing. Like, if you've got a cut on your skin and you subject it to infrared energy, it will heal quicker. And the thing is, I don't have to give you all this esoteric stuff because everybody here knows. Hot sunny day, you've got the sun shining on your back. You know, it's the nicest. Short of coming, it's the nicest feeling in the world. And we're not going back into jerk off crystals.
Bonjour, Hobbit.
Alors, comment allez-vous, Donny? Ça va bien?
Hobby en général, il y a une vidéo sur les briques et l'électricité.
Ah oui.
Hobbit in general, there's a video about bricks and electricity.
Yeah, Brucey. Infrared feels good. UV causes sunburn, but also you do need a bit of UV because the UV penetrates your skin, and then in order to protect you from the damage of the UV, the body sends cholesterol into your skin, and then the UV gets absorbed by that, and then the body turns it into vitamin D, testosterone, and I think estrogen as well. So all of these hormones and the vitamins of that sort are produced from cholesterol, and specifically it is the UV which is causing that. It's causing you damage, and in order for your body to repair itself, it converts the cholesterol into vitamin D. I thought it was amazing when I found it. It's like, holy shit! So we're told that the sun's bad for us, but if we don't get sun, we'll get skin cancer.
Well, SAD is a real thing, isn't it? It's a real problem.
Oh, my granddad, right? He's got he's told he's not allowed to get sun on his head because if he does, it will cause him to have skin cancer. So he was really sick.
They stop people who've had chemotherapy or radiotherapy. They tell them to not go in the sun, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's the other thing. They said to him when he went to the hospital, it's like, oh, you're critically short of vitamin D, so they injected him with him. And I said to him, look, why don't you go outside? Oh, I better not because my head. And it's like, well, wear a hat and go outside. You need the vitamin D. I look at him and I look at my other granddad, and my other granddad, I mean, he's absolutely pickled because my God, does he drink? But he is so much healthier because he's in the garden all the bloody time, and he's gardening, and he makes. He's got. I don't know how he's able to grow parsley so well. I'm envious of him, but the salads he makes are fantastic, and he's got a greenhouse. I went in there once, and it was 60 degrees, and as a wave of heat washed over me. I was like, my God, how long have you been in here? It's like, couple of hours. These tomatoes are coming through nicely. It's like, yeah, Granddad, you're going to die of heat stroke if do you realise it's 60 degrees in here? Yeah, it's good, isn't it? And it's like, holy shit, are you a fucking lizard?
Hobbits relate to the lizard people, confirmed.
My granddad is lizard people.
Yeah. Hobbit's granddad is lizard people, confirmed.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Madfaz. I'm looking at these. Madfaz, it's too many syllables. I'm going to call you Fwaz from now on. I'm looking at all these. They're all
You just call me
coastal.
Fraser. You know, it's fine. Just call me my name.
All right, then Fraser, but
Fraser.
Oh, sorry. Let's do the. No, I can't do it. You see, because I was thinking of Dr. Fraser Crane. I'm listening.
I've never once watched a single episode of that program, and I'm proud of it.
You know
Same.
what? You probably did. It was the
Well,
fast.
actually, I think I've watched one. Yeah.
I have watched probably, I would say, 90% of all the Frasier episodes, and I liked his dad, who was serious, but I would say it was the fart sniffing Friends.
Mm-hmm.
And I've watched a couple of episodes of Friends and gone, I hate these people, and then only later on do I realise why I hated these people, because I've been instilled from a young age with Tintin and the Bible to hate these people.
You mean they're very much like Seinfeld's Friends? Is that what you're saying?
So you're saying I'm right? Can you fan my balls a bit more, Hobbit? Yeah, how I was right about the electric lightning not striking these lightning rods.
No, I'm not saying that.
All right.
Do I need to? I need, before we finish up this episode, we've got another 20 minutes yet. Let me show you a video of lightning strikes Vatican during Pope election. I think they call it an election, but it really was selected. Here we go. Here's a video. Let me put it on. Sorry, I had to burp then. I'll put it into there. Oh, there we go. What's his name? Don did the bricks into batteries. Do you want to show the lightning striking Vatican hours after Pope resigns? I think that's St. Peter's Basilica. It's a domed building, and it's got a sticky, like, if it was a boob and the bit at the top is a nipple.
Yeah.
It's striking the top. Now, the thing is, I know from lightning they say electricity always tries and finds the path of least resistance.
Yep.
If you've got a metal rod at the top of a building and it's connected to ground, be it through stone or through a conducting rod or whatever, that's the path of least resistance.
Is it though?
Yeah, it is.
Are you sure? Then why does 99% of the time the lightning strike trees or anything close to the ground? It's never up in the sky.
Yeah, because then it's like it's going for like the path of least resistance there. I mean, the thing is, if you look at lightning, it's a fascinating stuff, and you can see it forking over at the place. And like if you see super slow videos, you see like lightning comes up.
Yeah.
When it comes up from the ground, it's like you've got these two like prongs of it. Like it's coming from the cloud and it's coming from the ground, and when it meets, that's when you get a big flash, because all that static electricity turns into current in like a split second, and it all discharges.
Is Hemi
Oh, sorry, mate. What? Sorry,
Do you want to put like one of these videos on about bricks into batteries, and then
bricks into which one do you want? Bricks into batteries,
or the Vatican lightning strike, because it's like 1 minute long. I can stop talking for a minute.
I'll do the bricks into batteries.
Okay. Give me a chance to shut my gab for a bit.
Today we'll be looking at how scientists...
Right, so give me a sec. Bricks into batteries, that's up.
there we go.
Share screen, so you can hear it at the same time as me.
Nice.
Right, that's it, so you can watch it at the same time as everyone else. Full screen. And
Scientists found a way to turn bricks into batteries. If you're new to this channel, welcome. This is Mr. Singularity, where we explore the scientific and technological breakthroughs shaping the future as we know it. Some of the main obstacles to the revolution in green energies is figuring out how to conserve electricity while the sun is not rising and the wind is not roaring. Now scientists have shown that the standard construction bricks can be converted into energy storage units, making our homes potentially giant batteries. While in recent years, lithium-ion battery technology has seen dramatic price drops, most experts agree they will remain too expensive for grid-scale storage. Lithium's relative scarcity also means they're unlikely to be able to meet all of our energy needs. This is driven by considerable research into alternative ways to store excess renewable energy, ranging from much cheaper molten salt batteries to approaches that use spare electricity to compress air or pump water uphill before releasing turbines later.
Probably like a
but all this time, a potential energy storage medium seems to have sat under our noses. Scientists at Washington University in St. Louis have shown in a paper in Nature Communications that bricks bought from Home Depot can be handled with a basic chemical process to give them battery-like power storage capability. This technique leverages the porous structure of the brick to deposit through the brick a layer of a conducting polymer called PEDOT. This converts each brick into a supercapacitor, which is similar to a battery, but usually trades faster charging times for lower storage capacity. The researchers' process involves first bathing the bricks in a vapor of hydrochloric acid that flows into the pores and reacts with the iron oxide that gives their red colour to the bricks. It transforms the iron oxide into a reactive form of iron that reacts with another gas that is poured into the brick to produce a thin layer of PEDOT, a material that is electrically conductive. The coating is in reality a nanofibers mat with a very wide surface area which increases its potential for energy storage. This PEDOT coating acts as an electrode, and the researchers added an electrolyte gel to the bricks as well. They showed that 3 tiny bricks were enough to power a green LED on a single charge for 10 minutes. What's more, the researchers painted the bricks with a protective epoxy that had a knock-on effect stopping water evaporation from the cement, which ensures that the bricks can be charged and discharged for 10,000 cycles with a power decrease of just 10%. The bricks are still a concept proof rather than a ready-to-go solution to our energy storage needs. The energy density is only 1% that of lithium-ion batteries. Giulio Darcy, who led the report, said in a press release 50 bricks hooked up to a solar panel could have 5 hours of emergency illumination. Still, this is a long way from storing enough power for our households, which are increasingly hungry for energy. DRC also admitted to New Scientist that there is some fear that the acid treatment may damage the quality of the bricks, to the degree that they may not be sufficient to make up a building's key structural components. Yet it is already early, and the team is finding routes to major efficiency enhancements. DRC notes that the team is already working on ways to transform their nanofibers into composite materials that contain other semiconductors, which they hope will increase capacity by a factor of 10. They're also working on fabrication process tweaks to boost speeds and reduce costs. DRC states that one group has mixed bricks with metal oxide nanoparticles to help clean out air emissions. Another has produced bricks that can conduct electricity by adding carbon nanomaterial electrodes. Electric car maker Tesla also builds roof tiles to generate solar power. While there is still a long way to go, the houses of the future may appear to be giant batteries that can power themselves with ample green energy. If you have made it this far in the video, thank you and welcome to the end of the video club. What's your take on this? Let me know down in the comments below and check out one of these other videos.
That's that.
People did it better.
Subscribe and comment in the things so it helps the algorithm.
Likes and subscribe to Mr. Singularity. Mr. Singularity, Mr. Generic fucking British accent. Mr. Generic kind of poshiest British accent.
But
you know, it's a shame. It's a shame Bjarke isn't here. He knows the value of a brick, doesn't he? Like Brucey says, "Where's Bjarke?" He knows how good bricks are.
Look,
they need to make.
I love my brick.
They need to make them out of engineering bricks. That's what they need to do. Those fuckers. What are those fucking things made out of, Hobbit? Engineering bricks.
What do you mean engineering bricks?
You know the light grey the dark grey bricks, the ones that are impossible to fucking drill, the fucking absolute beast to drill through. You never had to deal with an engineering brick.
Grey bricks, not breeze blocks, because
No, they're called engineering bricks. They're the same size as a regular brick, but they're super hard.
Brick. Let me have a look at it, because this is engineering bricks. Bricks with strength, low water porosity, acid resistance are needed.
They're usually they're usually used as like a damp course.
Yeah, they of course, yeah, I've seen them. So they got quite a good example here. Just to show people in the chat, there's a Wikipedia article, and they got Camborne railway station, and they're using the blue engineering bricks as a decorative thing with the red bricks. So what is it? So engineering bricks are used with damp-proof courses, right? Clay engineering bricks are defined British standard. Fire clay brick has a dense and strong semi-vitreous body.
No, they've done that because they're around the windows. That's not decorative. That's structural, isn't it? They put it on the corners of the buildings and around the doors and windows. That's not decorative. That's structural, isn't it?
Is that also to stop damp ingress coming through?
Yeah. I think that's what they've done it for. I think that's structural. I don't think it's...
Because, I mean, both like bricks are ceramic, but it's just like this is a dense ceramic, and stronger and less porous engineering bricks, UK Class A, are usually blue due to the higher firing temperature, while Class B bricks are usually red. Class A bricks have a strength of 125 Newton N over mm squared, or 18,000 pounds per square inch, and water absorption less than 4.5%. Class B bricks have a strength greater than 75, and water less than 70. Okay, so Accrington brick is a type of engineering brick that was used in the construction of foundations of the Empire State Building. So what's an Accrington brick? Accrington bricks, or Nori, are a type of iron-hard engineering brick produced in Oldham near Accrington in Lancashire. And produced from 1887 to 2008, and again from 2015, so they briefly stopped. And they were used as the foundations for the Blackpool Tower and the Empire State Building. Okay, very interesting. That's a nice red brick. That's a really nice red brick, actually.
Red brick appreciation side.
Oh yeah, I like red bricks. Yeah, the red bricks are not to be sniffed at. So, you know what? We only got 9 minutes left. Not enough time to do it justice, but
yeah, we'd have to do a whole episode on thingy. I think
John Hutchinson. Yeah. And the thing is, I didn't really want to
start.
John
Hutchinson next week then.
Yeah.
But we'll have to give it a title which will confuse the censor bot, because.
Why is he? Do they get upset?
Well, yeah, because he's tied to 9/11, like conspiracy.
Oh right, because that's why I called 9/11 the 11th of October. No, 11th of November. That's why I called it that.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll get like a warning, and it'll be like the Flat Earth episode 77.
No, Snape says John Hutchinson is a crank. That's what it will say, won't it?
Yeah. Actually, let me try and take Fortean words. Fortean words, episode 77. See if I get anything come up. Episode 73, Poltergeists. No, that's not us. That's another show. What if I just do Fortean words 77? Fortean words, the channel. And then a bunch of stuff. Fortean words 53, 9th of November. Fortean 92, The Craze. Fortean 95, Curious Tales. 85, 102, 87. It will not show me episode 77 of Fortean words. But if I go to anchor.fm, so Fortean
that might be because I deleted it, because I had to delete a load of episodes.
Oh, did you? Oh. Yeah. So you're part of the conspiracy then?
Yeah. He's covering up the internet.
I'm covering up for Zog.
So if you go to Anchor, it's anchor.fm/Fortean words, and you've got all the lists in there. You've got Political Intrigue with episode 101, so you've got to update it a bit. But it's all nicely listed, and if you got down there, episode 77, Flat Earth Hobbit. Now, when you try and type in 14 words flat Earth into Google, it'll be like, sorry, not Google, into YouTube. Wow.
Try into Google.
14 words flat Earth. Let's try that. And then the first thing that comes up is context. Flat Earth, Wikipedia. The flat Earth model is an archaic conception of Earth shape as a plane or disk. When the ancient cultures go out, blah blah blah. So if I try and, I use DuckDuckGo. I don't really want to type in flat Earth into Google. No,
you'll get that science guy, the bold soy face guy. It's like, yeah, you'll get him. He'll come up. Guaranteed.
Neil Snake in the Grass Tyson.
No, this other guy, this YouTuber.
Oh, okay.
He's just like, what about everything or something or some shit. Like,
I've done it on Earth. I've done it on Earth, on flat Earth. Yeah. 14 words flat Earth. I've done it on Google. Sorry, not Earth. 14 words 77 flat Earth Hobbit has questions is the first result. Second result, modern flat Earth beliefs. Modern flat Earth beliefs are promoted by organisations and individuals which make claims that the Earth is flat while denying the Earth's sphericity. And then the second one after that is Flat Earth Wikipedia. The Flat Earth model is an archaic conception of Earth's shape as a plane or disk. Yeah. Many ancient cultures subscribe to Flat Earth cosmology.
Yeah, they can't all be wrong, though, can they?
Yeah.
So, Hemi, you said the first result is Flat Earth. Is that Anchor FM or YouTube?
It's something called listennotes.com.
Listen Note? Has you got anything to do with that? Oh, okay.
I don't know. Anchor throws it out to a lot of things.
Oh, okay. So it's like a syndication? I don't know the words.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to have to do another episode about John Hutchinson because, sorry, John Hutchinson, but jerk-off crystals are very important, and the audience was very interested in alternative. Imagine faster than light travel from you're harnessing a nation's wanking power.
We need to go faster. Wank harder.
Oh my god!
Watch Warp 9. Get to Warp 9, boy.
Do you think
all the your legs?
Hey, how's this for a novel take, right? Nuclear power and all that, it's all bollocks. The reason we got all this energy available on the Earth to do particle accelerants and stuff is because
people are just wanking into
they're wanking, and that's being harnessed by our computers.
How many teenage boys did they need to create CERN?
No, I've got this. This is right. I've got this right. This is how the modern energy production systems works. Often when you're wanking, you've got a phone in your hand. A phone's got crystals, which is silicon and stuff. The screen is made of a sapphire. It's Gorilla Glass. That's crystal. So you're charging up your jerk-off crystals whilst you're looking at pornography. And the reason the pornography is free is because they want to give you all the stimulation you can take, so you stimulate yourself. And the world is powered by masturbation. So our world, never mind all the steam turbines and all that, that's all smoke and mirrors. It's literal smoke and mirrors. What's really powering the world is masturbation. And that's what I want to leave our audience with tonight. So think about that.
Maybe Hobbit is secretly the bricks have got the crystals in them, so that you don't actually need to have one around your neck to power the house. It's already there.
If you think about it, that means domestic terrorism.
You just need a teenage son. You just need a teenage son with unlimited internet.
So, no fap is domestic.
Then your house will be glowing from orbit. Then.
No fap is basically saying to kids, don't contribute to the energy grids. Keep it all for yourself.
Yeah.
And you're telling people to not. That's why there's probably getting blackouts in North Korea, because they don't have free pornography over there, and the blackouts in China. Hey, that's it. With all the restrictions on the internet, they're not getting all the free pornography we're getting. That's why the lights are going off over there. See, if you want the lights to keep on this Christmas, you know what your duty is.
Yeah, you've got to go masturbate into the Christmas tree.
England expects every man to do his duty. And I think if you're
wives, honey, the Christmas tree lights have gone out again.
Yeah, aren't America first in the groupers? Aren't America first and the Groypers NoFap? Exactly.
That's why they're domestic terrorists. That's why Nick Fuentes is forbidden from flying. That's why the Mile High Club is what
It's not making sense.
The Mile High Club, the energy released from that is what keeps the planes flying. It's not compressed air. This is a fucking ridiculous thing.
It's not.
Compressed air, my
Jet
ass.
fuel. It's not jet fuel that's powering, is it?
Paddy's watching. He says geothermal runs off nuclear energy in the ground. So they say obviously just Hyperboreans wanking.
Yes.
Is there a giant wank crystal?
The Hollow Earthers, man. It's the Hollow Earth.
There's a giant jerk-off crystal in the middle of the Earth, isn't there?
The Agarthans are a bunch of wankers, and they've been doing a whole bunch of wanking because that's why La Palma's been erupting all these weeks.
Is this what happened in the Great Reset that
we cracked the code?
Where we had the jerk-off crystals taken from us, and we had to pay for electricity.
Yes, that's it exactly. Yeah.
They took away our jerk-off crystals, and
they took our They took our geo crystals.
They took our geo crystals. We've cracked the code, guys. We have got the hottest take in the conspiracy woo-woo field.
Yeah.
Oh man.
The Druid's knowledge was destroyed. That was the Druid's knowledge, wasn't it? The JO crystals.
Procrastination saves lives, right?
Yeah.
The Druids were busy wanking off on trees. They needed to wank off on crystals.
Yeah.
They're doing it wrong. The Romans showed them the Romans showed them the way.
Right, and on that bombshell, I think we're done now, aren't we? Stay spooky, people. Woo.
Ectoplasm. Woo. Spooky ghost.
Back next week.
Ectoplasm will power your house.